I'm here on the Bow River with Don Grant, a former CambrianHouse employee. I've been meaning to do a post-mortem on CambrianHouse's endeavors on Second Life for some time now, so I gotta get some footage with him before he starts his next job, and lucky me, he suggested doing it on the Bow River. In mid-January, CambrianHouse halted development in Second Life. CambrianHouse had dedicated minimal resources to September 2006, which resulted in the creation of Battle Axe Island. Sorry for calling you minimal resources.
I resent that remark.
Don is plenty o resources. This was shortly after seeing a presentation by Corey Andregia when we...
This is difficulty of making stuff. Percentage of the users who actually make something and contribute. The web, thanks to blogs, is up to like 4%. The Sims, this is a video game. They had a 1% creation rate. Wikipedia, 0.02%. But 4% of eBay members are sellers. We see this very low participation rate. Creating in Second Life is really, really hard. It's an embedded 3D modeler. If you're a programmer, you're writing code in Second Life. You're using the scripting language that I wrote in a night. So I guarantee you that it's not the world's greatest language. And so it's hard to create, but in any given month, 66% of the people who use Second Life try to make something from scratch.
So I was there at the Second Life presentation back in September 2006. I was blown away. We were all blown away. It's like, wow, that's really cool.
So these two guys decided that Second Life, as a very real world, clearly needed UFO abductions.
And our first thought was,
if we wanted to use something like this to collaboratively build software, could we do things like have whiteboard sessions with other people?
So some users have built some bad whiteboards. So how we use Second Life, because we had 5 offices scattered all over the place already, we sort of had one big room with everybody in one big room, and got to 50 people and said, wow, we've scaled beyond the size that one big room works for. And rather than figuring out how to go traditional and get cubes and offices and all that dumb stuff, we said, well, let's try to reproduce this sort of distributed work model. And so Second Life's actually a fairly important part of that. We use it with other tools. So we use it with sub-Ethernet. We use it with sharing, Linux screen sessions.
can we interact with the CambrianHouse community on Second Life?
It's like in 1 week, it's like 1 million lines of code a week or something crazy like that. That's the polyphonic model, where everybody is just throwing shit in, right? It's not towards a common goal, so they don't know where it's going to lead.
Out of everyone who works at the company, there's 58 people now. He says, like, for sure, there's like different aspects of what can be in there that bother someone, right? Like there's like weird sex shit going on that really pisses so-and-so off,
But they made a decision.
we're a platform, right? So people can do whatever they want.
Oh, I love that guy, man. That's good government. It should be the umpire only.
Like, we'll form a space for them there, and we'll all hang out there, and it'll be awesome.
When the conference was shut down, they went out in Second Life and hung out together in Second Life and built all those same sorts of social connections that the people at the conference were building.
So then we tried to pursue that, and this is the post-mortem of Battle Axe Island. Dun, 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 dun! When we were down in San Francisco, the first time was to meet with venture capitalists, and it was pretty cool. One of the neater bits of footage we got was Guy Kawasaki and presenting him with a National Viking Association Award, and JR pushed him down in hockey.
It's about domination and intimidation.
So, way to go, JR.
Can't happen to me.
Hey, kid, it's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? Okay, I think I should get involved. Oh, that's kind of fun.
If you weren't holding on to electronic equipment, I would have took you a little closer.
It's about social interaction, and real-world skills are what matter in Second Life. You can't mine for money or anything like that. You actually have to make a compelling business case in the game if you want to get paid. That island that we have, that's what we're looking for. You can, if you own the land, you can terraform it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So we're looking for something along the lines of that island. It's the big battle axe in the middle, little shield, and lots of little spaces around it where you can have private meetings and such.
Jack Linden, I have no doubt from what you've described, Second Life will provide a great venue for your group. Their land store is actually back online, so they're selling again, so hopefully we can get something going this week.
First thing we did was build an island.
The island is online now. We got it just in time because the prices went sky high right after we bought.
Well, that was a lot of work. That actually took about a month.
A lot of you haven't actually been in here, so I just figured I'd give you a quick look. I know some of you have. This is where we sit around all day. Tech guy's often here. Cyber Cerberus spends a lot of time here too. He usually heads for the pub, which is at the top of the island. The more people that hang out here, the more the traffic count goes up for a place. You show up higher when people search. I'd type battle in there,
and there's what shows up. We're on the top of the list there. People are looking to fight. They type battle into the search thing, and they keep showing up here wanting to fight me. But I'm the only one who can actually shoot or push people around here. I have a gun that shoots cages.
How'd you get that?
Chris can tell you all about it. It's fun.
I had to learn Photoshop because I'd never used it before. And then there's 9 alpha channels involved in making that island. There's water depth and all that sort of things that have to be taken in there. I learned a lot doing it, but I don't know that it's a marketable skill. It has nothing to do with where I'm working now.
Does it even appear on your resume at this point?
Actually, it does. You just never know. A company might want one.
Just sitting here by the well and hanging out increases the traffic count. When they land on the island, there's an About CambrianHouse thing they can get, and it has a big spiel ripped from our webpage.
After that, basically, it was putting stuff on the island. I built a nice Viking ship, which if you go to the island, you can see it. I left them laying behind there. CambrianHouse owns them. Aiden and I built the Robinhood Fund wishing well. It makes HTTP calls out, so it hits the Robinhood Fund server to get product codes.
You actually were showing us how one part talks to the other.
Oh, that was more building a collaboration platform. Basically, there was the platform itself, and then there was a barrel in it, which you could drop an idea into, and it would send it off. And I'm just checking to see if we're going to hit the abutments here. You'll let me know, right?
Yeah, totally. I'm multitasking.
I've got this barrel. That's the idea submission area. The ideas would be done in a note card format, and a little magic happens while it validates it. You can see it going on the left here. It didn't find what it was looking for, so it throws it away. The good one, it is actually deposited into a repository, which you can't tell from looking at it, but that's the bottom of the barrel here, which... That's the repository. It's really funny. It's really object-oriented. That's an object. The repository is a separate object. They each have their own scripts running in them. The little spinny thing that shows up is an object. There's one spawned per idea.
And there was a basic platform that hooked it all together. And that was kind of neat, but it never got finished.
We originally envisioned using Second Life as a collaboration tool where people would get together to coordinate crowdsourced projects. We've come to the conclusion that Second Life is an inappropriate venue for this, with the exception of collaborating on Second Life projects.
Like our island would only hold 40 people. Not much of a big get-together you can have there. We were thinking having a big community member party there, but 40 is a whole lot less than 10,000.
All in all, what do you see Second Life being used for, Don?
Well, you can use it. You can actually get together and chat about stuff in there. You can find interesting things to go look at. There's interesting ideas that people are doing in there that aren't actually practical in the real world right now, but might be at some point in the future. So for one point, it's a possible source of just inspiration, because there's so much imagination in there, and people build things which can't be done out here yet. From a collaboration point of view, I don't really know.
In terms of software collaboration, right now we're using chat rooms outside of Second Life and just all the kind of stuff people are using in the real world, like wikis and forums. Try to push all of that into Second Life, and it just doesn't gel.
The chat client in Second Life is actually really weak. If you're trying to talk to somebody and you want to edit your chat or whatever, you can't use your cursor keys because cursor keys move people around. So if you're trying to backspace, that sort of thing, you actually have to go back and delete everything or move over to use your mouse and insert at the point in the line that you're trying to edit, that sort of thing. It's an unwieldy client.
Of course, it's big, too. We've had community members trying to interact with us on Second Life, and they're just like, I can't launch the Second Life client just for the sake of getting in a chat room.
Like, the download is big, and they release a new client every week, or they used to anyway. So every Wednesday it would be down for 4 hours at least, and you'd have to download a whole new client when they were done with the maintenance upgrades.
Reminds me more of a video game than an actual
thing.
It reminds me more of the way video game upgrades are handled than the way enterprise software upgrades are handled.
And then you'd have to install it and run it, and it would suck up the resources, and you basically need to run it full screen to use it too.
The only people in the office that were able to manage Second Life, I think, were people with second monitors.
Actually, that's not quite true. Being the guy who was actually in Second Life all day, every day, I didn't need a second monitor, but I also had the best laptop in the company. If I was doing other things at the same time, it's painful.
If you are trying to upgrade your hardware, telling the company you're working for right now that they need to get into Second Life, one way or another, you'll probably get some better hardware out of it. CambrianHouse is still open to Second Life software ideas and business ventures. Do we still have a sandbox on the end of the island?
Oh yeah, at the one tip of the axe, there's a basic little peninsula hanging down there, and that's all wide open. Anyone can play there. So the fact that it's publicly available means people build things and leave them laying around. And then I'd go and clean them up, and sometimes I would ban those people.
Just like anyone, when I started out on the projection screen, I went down to the sandbox, built a screen.
That screen's placed in an awkward part because that's the sandbox, and it was just a test run.
So you're streaming our inside of the office to Second Life?
right now they're seeing that shot.
And then when we had all the kinks worked out, we moved it on to a non-sandbox location of the island. Is only really interesting because a video screen will only fit onto one polygon typically, so I had to split the video information across a bunch of large polygons to make it big enough for a crowd of people to watch it. If you do check it out and you're like, oh, I want a big projector screen for my property, then just bug us here at CambrianHouse and I'm sure we can set you up with one of those in Second Life. So now we have webcams, and I wouldn't say that they actually relay a lot of information unless we're having an active demo day or triage or something like that, where the audio is turned on.
If I remember correctly, we only broadcast audio during demo days.
And the idea was basically the LCD is looking into Second Life, and Second Life is looking to our office with the webcam.
To know that we can look at them on that display, because if you look on the thing at the very top left, right, you can see that our television's in the frame.
So we had a demo drone client that was just sitting around in Second Life, not doing anything, but it gave a particular perspective. So you could see all the avatars as they gathered around in particular locations. But that's not really giving you much information, like in terms of actually collaborating. You can be like, oh, that's cool. And it was definitely cool to see, you know, the community members flying around in Second Life.
Yeah. And Christine naked. Christine when she lost all her clothes.
Good times. One thing I thought was bad was that you can only have one webcam feed per
parcel. The island can be divided up into a whole bunch of different parcels, and each one can have its own audio and video feeds, but that means you got to divide it up, and that means you got all those little parcels to maintain. Think feudalism.
You can't even have a collection of pre-recorded videos, like walk over here to look at this kiosk playing this video, walk over there to play that kiosk playing that video, unless those kiosks are on independent parcels. What do you think about maintaining a bunch of parcels, Don?
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, ass.
Cyber Cerberus and Tech Guy used to show up fairly often in there. A few other people did show up on a sort of semi-frequent basis. Cyber Cerberus was always in there wanting to know who's going to win the Idea Wars tournament, because I had the database access too. And I never told him, honest. Tech Guy would show up fairly regularly just to chat about stuff, and it was actually good. It was a nice way to get to chat with people, and you see what they've done with the avatars. You'd find out something more about the person based on how they've customized the free Viking avatars off the island.
The concept of a video window where we could look out into Second Life and Second Life could look back into us. The final nail in that coffin was the destruction of an LCD screen.
JT, intern, he was there for 2 weeks, playing a little Wii tennis.
Well, that's a backhand for you. Hit number 5.
Just like Rob did.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God!
But he was aiming higher.
So you are familiar that when we posted the Rob Wiimote disaster in the forums, did you see what people were saying on the whole "weetard" comment line?
Oh no, I didn't see that. I just saw the video.
You should go through there and you should read all the comments people posted. You might just want to prepare yourself.
It could happen to you. Be careful.
So then we were stuck with the projector. With the projected image, you just can't get the contrast. To see a chat room in an office from far away, you really want black and white text.
I got nothing to add there. I'm just looking at the shore here thinking we're getting kind of close.
Oh, sure, yeah. There's no, I'm going to let us crash into the bank of the Bow River and team.
I still log in once or twice a week. It's a good chance to go and chat with my brother, hang out at some clubs, that sort of thing. Interesting things to be seen. Just the creativity that people put into their avatars and that sort of things. It's amazing. There's monstrous dragons. There's great looking women, most of whom are men, I understand. There's just everything. And great music and the whole bit, all without having to leave home. I'd still rather leave home and go drinking somewhere, but this is a nice weeknight thing.
Apparently American Apparel stores neglected, and some enterprises go in there basically like we do, and it just fizzles out.
You're in there, you're wearing your Snoopy suit. You don't want to look like someone in American Apparel garb. You want to look like a Viking or something, right?
And you can get your Viking costume on Battle Axe Island for free.
I made that costume.
What kind of stuff do you think would work in Second Life? A company that's not there now, but you think might actually make sense?
No, honestly, I've given it some thought, and I can't think of a lot of good ideas that are sustainable businesses. There's people in there selling land. Big deal. That's not interesting.
That's just speculation activity, and you'll find that anywhere.
There are some interesting things in there, I guess, like the guy who made the translator glasses. Basically, he made a pair of glasses which were scripted, so when they heard you talk, the owner, or someone near you, if it wasn't in English, then it would translate what it heard into whatever you wanted it to be. Basically, it would making external calls to Babelfish or something like that. It's a pretty cool idea.
I want to thank Don for joining me and basically getting me out of the office on a beautiful day. I couldn't have done it without you.
Hey, no problem. This is what I do now. 2 more days till I'm finally really done. This is just my vacation.
We all hate him.